just sick. So really it started yesterday. So hopeful for tomorrow. We'll see. But I don't have any update on that.
And Alex,
You don't expect Alex this week.
Zach, what is the fine line between playing with intensity, playing with focus, and not playing over the edge and feeding into baiting? If a certain team tries to bait you.
I think just controlling your emotions. This is going to be an intense game. Anytime you play a divisional game, and then you have the playoffs on top of that, there's an intensity and urgency that comes with that, and expect our guys to be ready to go.
What has been the biggest challenge preparing for the same team 2 weeks in a row?
I don't know if they're challenges or not. It's unique that you have to do this 2 weeks in a row. I don't know if challenge would be the phrase. You're just getting ready for another opponent that we know really well, and they know us really well. And again, you got to find a way to win or go home.
Besides the obvious, what's different about it then?
Just playing the same team twice in 8 days. That's really the only difference.
You have to be ready for adjustments on their part, adjustments on your part. I mean, it's going to be a chess match, isn't it?
Everything. It's sometimes you play divisional games a couple weeks separated from the other time you played them. So again, we'll see how it plays out.
How do you feel your run game has been in December and January?
We're just trying to be efficient as possible. We're not into the passing stats and the rushing stats. We just want to be efficient.
Is the biggest, not problem or concern, but I guess the biggest thing to think about is you do have an identity. You don't want to try to tweak it so much that identity gets a little bit nicked up. I mean, is doing things that you've done well all year the most important thing?
It is. That's what our guys have a lot of confidence in. It's what allowed us to win as many games as we've won this year, 8 in a row, and beat a lot of good teams along the way that have good defenses, and feel like our guys have done a really good job.
Zach, you've been on multiple teams that have made runs to the Super Bowl. I'm curious what last year's run maybe taught you, or something new you felt you took away about why teams win and make runs in the postseason. Was there something?
There's just a confidence when you're at practice on a Wednesday, on a Friday, the way the team carries themselves, the work they get in. You're out there today. It's not Wednesday is not a high intensity day for us, but it is a base down day, and there's new stuff that goes in, and our guys handle it really well because it makes sense to them because they've all been in these systems for so long now. It really feels that way, and so there's just this confidence, and this is our third game this January, and they know what the expectations are. They know what's going to be needed of them. They've been through this before, and they know what it's going to take to do it again.
Obviously, your quarterback has a big capacity to understand a lot of things football-wise, but if he's the only one that doesn't do you much good. Is this team as good as you've had in terms of football IQ overall?
Yes, it's a very smart team. Again, they've just repped this stuff so many times over the years now where it all makes sense to them. So you can make the subtle adjustments in game or out of game where it's easy. There's no stress that someone's not going to understand it or do it. Really in all three phases. And so I think that's part of just having the consistency of the coordinators and the coaching staff that have been here for so long. Darren for 20 years and offense and defense here for 4 years, and then a lot of the players who've just been through it all, a lot of the core players, and adding really smart players allows you to do a lot of different things subtly and quickly.
I know you talked about Alex's availability for this week. Do you know if he will be available for the rest of the postseason?
I just know he won't be available this week.
Zach, what was it about Max that you wanted to sign him? Obviously, he's a guy who's got experience in the league, and you get to sit by and watch a guy who's really capable of playing every day. How much does it give you confidence to know that you got a veteran that's going to fill in the crucial?
That's good. He's seen a lot of things. He's played a lot of games in this league. I know our scouting department liked him coming out of Northern Illinois. We liked him coming out of Houston. That's why we claimed him there at the cut down. And he's been doing all the work that needed to be done as a backup, and knowing that his moment could come at any moment. He's been around long enough to know that, and that we're going to count on him. And so it's good to have him in the position that we're in right now.
How do you decide, I didn't realize this until today, but how do you decide when to go outside or indoors or in the stadium? How do you decide that? Is it just
It felt good out there today. It was drizzling, but it felt nice to just get outside. You forget us coaches. We're in Monday and Tuesday. We're in a room like this, and so the first time I really get to see daylight is Wednesday at practice, and so sometimes it's just nice to get out there. It wasn't too cold, you know. It was hard to predict what the rain was going to be, but it was really held up perfect for us.
I mean, is it the fact that you're here, you know, you're gonna be out there, you're gonna be playing an outdoor game this week?
Yeah, you know, again, these games, at some point there's going to be elements. I don't know if it'll be Sunday, but you always got to be prepared for that. Take advantage of it when you can get it. Who knows what tomorrow's going to look like too? You know, tomorrow doesn't look like it's going to be the best day we've ever had. So we just monitor that before getting indoor work and outdoor work.
Do you have to do like, I mean, maybe, get used to the elements, and then if there's a day you gotta get a lot of work done, go inside, or how does that?
I could make that argument either way, you know, to utilize those 3 fields or go inside. So, you know, it's just we have a plan in place usually as the week starts to get going.
The stuff you're talking about, practices during the week being so important, why is that so important this time of year? Why is that such a big deal now compared to, you know, October or whatever?
Yeah, we don't do as much full speed work. We're not in pads. We've cut down the reps. Our players' health is our priority at this point. You know we've got great players. We need them to play well on Sunday. It's been a long season. You know, July, whatever, we started this thing. I was just looking over my training camp notes the other day, and that was a long time ago. And so to think about what these players have done to continue to play with this level of consistency, health is our number one priority. They've still got to touch those speeds occasionally over the week. Joey Bose and his staff do an excellent job of making sure that, and our players have completely bought into that sports science aspect of things. But at the same time, they know that it's mostly above the neck during the week at this point, and we got to be ready to play on Sunday. And so that's why it's critical to have guys that understand how to maximize these walk-through reps, jog-through reps, and when we do get a handful of full-speed reps, that they utilize them the right way.
Mind if I ask why you're checking training camp notes at this week?
No, I just kind of reflecting back on how far we've come, you know, since that point, and kind of what our focuses were then, and is it more just taking 5 minutes to reflect a little bit.
Anything you wrote down that proved prophetic, like, or that came true?
No.
It was like, yeah, oh, wow, that's right.
No, usually it'll be like the media's killing us over this, and so it's a lot of that kind of stuff.
Speaking of your
That must have been a long time ago.
Yeah, last training camp, our offense was horrific. We couldn't get a first down, and I reflect back on that one quite a bit.
speaking of your notes, and it's okay if you want to share, but is there anything from your notes from last year's playoff run
Yeah.
that you pulled out that is extremely helpful to you this year?
Nothing that I would share, but there's again, it's the weeks aren't that much different than the regular season weeks. Sometimes it's messaging. Sometimes there's notes just about playing a night game or things like that you know you got to adjust as you've been through more experiences, and so it's maybe not particular to January playoff, but just things that I think are helpful.
Are you a guy that tries to kind of script out the whole year, or do you find that, that's tough? I'll just do it a little ways. And
Yeah.
if I have to review
Have you been talking to Doug? Yeah, Doug does a great job of being on me about that, because that's part of the job. You know, is you got to do that. Do I do it 6 months in advance? No. More as it gets closer, I take care of it. But thankfully, I got Doug to make sure I get it done.
Do you know how many practices you're at, Zach, right now?
I do not. No, a lot.
Digits or-
I don't. No, I don't.
Zach, why do you and Duke Tobin work well together?
Duke's got no ego. You know, he just wants what's best for the organization, to be quite frank. And he knows what it takes to win. I think that's what's so special about him being here for so long is his experience at one place. He's seen players come and go, this division come and go. And so he's just so easy to work with. The whole department's easy to work with, all those guys. I always look forward to the interactions in the offseason, you know, when we're going through the draft and things like that, because you're not afraid as a coach to ask a question or throw in your 2 cents, and know you're not going to be looked at sideways. And so, again, just very easy. He's here all the time with us coaches, and I'll pop up to his office. He'll come down to mine. You know, we always have arranged meetings during the course of the week. But, again, he's been really easy to deal with, no ego, just wants the Bengals to win.
Zach, as a coach, how do you teach resiliency as a group concept? Is that possible?
More just about learning from the experiences that we endure during the season, you know, whether it's to be able to talk about urgency or resiliency or any of those traits that can come up. Anytime there's an example from other teams or our team that we can use to try to improve our team, that's kind of where we focus ourselves.
With how big Evan McPherson was on the playoff run last year, what conversations are there, if any, with him going into the playoffs?
I think Darren always does a great job of just knowing that moment. Those moments can come at any time. Those moments could be in the first quarter of a game, on a kick, and you just never know how that's going to shape up with the final score. I really like Evan's mental toughness. I think that he's prepared for big moments, which the playoffs are plenty of big moments. But he always does a great job with his preparation and is always ready for those times.
What makes Joe Burrow so good, not only week to week, but in game, making adjustments on the sideline?
Just so prepared. He's really prepared, and so again, there's always going to be game plan things from the other team that maybe are new to what we've seen. But it's easy for him to make those adjustments and understand what just happened and what we need to do to counter, or even in the moment, how to counter. And he just got that sense of calm. I think the unit really is able to take a deep breath with him at the helm because they know that he's in control of those moments. And just, be ready for communication, be ready for what he says in the huddle, be ready for what he says on the sidelines. And like I've always said, he's an extension of the coaching staff, and so that carries over to all aspects of football.
Going back to those examples you referenced, is there one that you're maybe most proudest of in terms of the resiliency y'all showed, whether it be even season, practice, training camp? Is there one that really sticks out?
I just think, early in the season when the narrative, it was easy to fall into the narrative of struggle, 2-0-2, 4, whatever it was. You never felt that. I knew what was being said outside, but I knew inside these walls, no one felt that. No one was nervous that maybe we're not going to accomplish the things that we were saying. We knew we had plenty of time. We knew what we had in the building, the talent, the character. So I knew then when we were having those early season losses that we had the type of team we wanted just based on how they reacted to that kind of stuff.
How does the Ravens run game differ from other teams in the league and how they use their linemen and using Ricard and things like that? Is it any fundamentally different than other teams?
Some, yeah. I mean, their overall style is different. It's the quarterback run can be a big part of what they do. A lot of gap scheme, a lot of perimeter stuff. So again, the quarterback run element is different than a lot of teams can utilize. Some teams can use it. This is a team that's done a good job using it.
It's that time of year where other teams are asking for permission to talk to assistants. How do you balance maybe being happy that it doesn't work, you're going to lose anybody versus being a little perturbed that nobody's giving these guys a look?
Yeah, that's a good balance. It's still early. And our focus, of course, is helping this team prepare for this game. But at the same time, we've got a lot of guys that are very important to the foundation that's been laid here and what's accomplished. And I certainly think that they're deserving of those opportunities. And it's not to take away from other people that get those shots because they're deserving as well. But just knowing our guys, you're probably talking Lou, Brian, Darren in particular, other guys. I think there's a lot of future head coaches on this staff that are going to be very successful. People reflect back in years and see that this was a really strong staff. And again, hopeful that those guys will get a shot. There is the balance. If everybody's back, everybody's back. There's worse things than that. But I wish they would get their opportunities to show what they're about.
As you reflect back to the beginning of the season, how different is your offense now than when you started the season?
I think going into any season, there's a balance. You balance so many things coming out of training camp. Health, some unknowns, and so again, that's early in the season. You're trying to form your identity and discover things that you thought were going to be great that maybe aren't as good as you thought. Some things that maybe you didn't think were going to be strengths that turned into strengths, and then as the season gets underway, you start to balance that stuff and be ready to adjust and be flexible. I think that's what we've done.
What was the biggest lesson you learned from that Week 5 game against Baltimore? It seems like Burrow has really been picking up since then, like the rest of the offense. What did you learn from that game?
We just didn't start very fast on offense. I think that was the thing. We put ourselves in a hole early. And then the second half, we had a turnover on the first play and then two possessions. And so there were some good things, and then there were some things that we had improved upon.
Zach, you said that you got to prepare as if Lamar's going to play no matter what. You didn't practice again today. It's increasingly unlikely that he will play. How do you maximize preparation for different guys that are going to be in there? Even though you said they're great at the running quarterback, there's certainly a difference when he plays and he doesn't.
Sure. I mean, he's a guy that can you really prepare for that athleticism? Not really. I think these other quarterbacks they have can do a great job. And so whether you're practicing that or not, you're still ready for a guy who's a dynamic runner. That's what they've done. Building that quarterback room is they've just found a lot of guys that can beat you with their legs and their arm. And so you got to be ready for everything.
Zach, a non-football question here, but I know fans are wondering, last year, I think you rewarded some of them by some surprise playoff game balls.
Mm-hmm.
Do you plan to play Santa Claus at all after some of these?
I'm certainly hopeful we get that opportunity, but that's a tradition that I plan on enjoying forever.